Hello, welcome to Book Club. Today, me and the boys, we're finishing off the Tao Te Ching Part 2, and then, get spin the wheel at the end, on to the next book.
Wheel.
Super excited. But before we get there, no, we got to talk about the amazement of this book. But before we get there, Seth, what's been going on? How you been doing?
He did throw it to me first.
I told you I would. You calling me a
Well, if
liar?
yeah, well, if our no, that was a bad that was a badly timed You're not a liar. You're a
Wow.
truth teller, that's for sure. Uh, I mean, if any listeners were keeping up, I think in the last episode I mentioned how I was gonna go to Dallas, and that totally happened. But it was a pretty nice. I don't know if relaxing is the word would use. I mean, I didn't do much, but I was having a good time, and so that was enjoyable. Other than that, it's kind of been. I don't know. It's been pretty. We were talking about this before we started recording. It's been pretty uneventful couple weeks for me, which is a little outside my norm. I'm feeling out of my element. When I say out of sorts, a fish out of water.
You're
Um,
just taking it easy right now. It's all right.
I need to see it that way. That's what I need to
Dude, you're
put in
reading
my
the
brain.
perfect book for
Relaxing is
this.
good, man. It's good for you.
You're
I
actually
was
reading the perfect book for this.
My
True.
soul was revolting against the words that were said in these passages.
So it's like, no, I want to be upset and do things all the time.
Yes, I want to be freaking out all the time. Oh man.
All right, well, I'll pass it over to David. We'll go around.
All right, well, from last episode, big changes are still coming. That is still under the wraps. Days are getting closer and closer and closer, which is very fun and very, very exciting. So, with that in perspective, yeah, keyword was doing great until I heard that a very good friend of mine said if chum bucket is right here and the Krabby Patty is right here, I'm gonna go get a $2 bucket of chum. And that
Was it a
honestly
$10
just completely
burger?
that honestly to me just completely threw me off, and I don't know if I could continue this book club anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. That friend
Versus
might
a
be pretty
$10
smart.
burger?
I'm
Are you
just saying.
kidding me?
No,
Come
no,
I'm
on.
not gonna eat a bucket of gruel, man. I can't
no
do it.
chum chunkers here, bro. I don't want any.
No chum chunkers.
That's nasty.
Dude, I could have millions and I'd still go for that chum. It's
And at that
economic.
point, I pass it off to the goddamn chum chuckers.
Yeah. Those who don't want to live an exquisite lifestyle.
Yeah, like the Tao tells us.
Yeah.
Have you not been reading these books? Have you not read
Yeah,
the
Clearly
meditations?
I don't think this side of the Discord has been reading any of these
So
books.
funny because Connor just pointed to the complete
Okay.
opposite
Yeah.
side that I'm not even
This
on.
side.
I didn't know if I should say something or just not say anything.
Can't say anything about your chum chuckers, Sally. No, you
Yeah,
gotta
that's
be
what I'm
on.
saying.
You gotta ride or die.
Chum Chuckers ride.
Consumerism in America.
This is what capitalism has brought us to.
Yeah, things been pretty good for the old con man, I will say. Summer's kind of slowing down a bit work-wise, so I'm on call every like 2.5, 3 months now, rather than
Ooh.
every 4 weeks, which
Wow.
is really nice.
Big upgrade.
Yeah,
That's a
so I'm not
lot,
gonna
yeah.
be working like, and that's not including like extra jobs on the weekends and stuff like that that I have to pull. So, um, I'll actually be having weekends consistently until probably May of next year. So I'm really excited about that.
Let's go.
Yeah, no, summer rolling down is really nice.
That's a massive
Till
development.
May?
Yeah,
Dude, that's a
hopefully,
lot. That's
hopefully.
pretty big.
Yeah. But also we had a meeting with all the techs in Houston yesterday, and I got a #1 technician for the second time in a row. Feels
Yo,
pretty
round of
good.
Snap, snap,
applause for our
snap, snap,
boy.
snaps.
Round of applause. Yeah, snap, 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 snap.
I think it's taken
Granted,
away my
I think
snap.
it's because I get paid a lot less than the more senior techs. So my hours that I'm working do make the company more money than the hours that they are working. So it makes sense.
I see.
The profit margin is
They got
pretty
quite the
nice.
system there, huh?
Yeah, but because
They
it's all
do.
based upon like how many hours you work, average amount of money you make per hour that you work for the
Cool.
company. Um, So, but anyways, I got a $200 Visa gift card. That's all that matters.
Gang, gang.
$12.
$200.
Oh,
200.
12,
200. That's
imagine.
quite a bit difference.
That's 6 buckets of chum.
That
That's
Dude, that's a whole week of food
that's
right
a
there.
whole week of chum.
Whole week of chum.
Dude.
Yeah.
No, I got a whole month of chum. Let's just say that.
Oh,
Like,
Man, he's
let's
gonna be eating
go.
good.
Let's go.
no, actually, I bought 2 tool bags today instead. So,
Awesome.
but
Oh,
they're really
nice.
nice tool bags. I've been wanting them for a while. But yeah, that's basically
That's
it
a
for
great
me.
thing to spend it on.
Yeah.
So things have been going good for me. Nothing too crazy. So, finishing up some things in the apartment. Um, Man, I'm trying to think if it's been. Work's been picking up a little bit for me recently,
Yeah.
so I've been a little bit busy again, which is good. I kind of like. I liked a little bit of stress that comes with work because it's like
Yeah.
almost makes me perform better. I do
Mhm.
things faster and just better. But man, can't really think of anything. Oh, it's my mom's birthday today. Happy
Oh,
Oh, it's
birthday,
my dad's
mom!
happy
birthday
birthday.
today.
Oh, is it
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
crazy.
Yo,
Birthdays
that's
Happy
pretty
already happened.
birthday
crazy.
to the parents.
Let's go. Yeah, you got
68,
to shout out the
bro.
parents. 68. My
That's
mom's
Or year
50.
68. He's 57 right now.
Oh, like okay, okay. I see. My
okay.
mom, I think my mom's
Oh.
21. My mom's 21, guys. That's how old she is.
Good diplomatic answer.
Oh yeah,
Good diplomatic
I did
answer.
wish her 21st birthday today. Happy
Oh,
21st.
that's cute.
Um,
Dude, I'm in the same boat, Howie.
Word.
Like, I think that's part of why I've been feeling weird is it's not just been less eventful weekends, but work's been really slow. And so I feel like a
Yeah,
lost man
just
at
like life
sea.
is kind of going,
Yeah, it's just
but
drifting. I'm
nothing's
just
going
showing up and
on.
existing for 8 hours, and that never feels good.
Dude, pick up a hobby, man.
Yeah, hip hobby during
Pick
work.
up a hobby. I
Yeah,
had
During
one,
work,
and I've been
man.
doing really bad at it. If you can't tell by my last 3 fantasy football
maybe choose a
performances.
better hobby or a hobby you're better at, I should say.
Oh man, oh
Damn.
man.
Fighting words right there.
Dude, the trash talk is I like when it comes
Keep
to
it
me and
keep it
trash
out
talk
of book.
competition,
Keep it out of
it's
book
always there.
club.
Keep it out of book
Keep it
club.
out,
This
yeah.
Out of
official
book club.
Dang,
proclamation.
Keep it
man.
on the
Crazy.
keep it on the outside. Hey,
No
so
fantasy
maybe
football talk.
we'll have like a weekly fantasy
You gotta at least
podcast.
there you go. You gotta at least let the winner of this because Howie and I are playing this week. You gotta at least let the winner gloat in the next episode.
Just a
And
little
then, and
bit.
then and then we'll put the kibosh on all future fantasy talk in the podcast. You gotta let us gloat. The
Well, that's
important
y'all's.
victory.
Look, that's y'all's decision. It's between you two, not between me, not between Connor. That's if y'all want to gloat and put each other down,
When you put it like
I'm here for it.
The book does say to basically not do that. If we're being real.
I'll just be a quiet observer.
Okay, heard. He'll become
as
obscure with the
Yeah.
as
crow.
the Tao tells us to. No, like
Hmm.
no, like this very first part, where it says those who possess in highest degree the attributes of the Tao do not seek to show them, and therefore they possess them. Those who possess in a lower degree those attributes sought how to not to lose them, and therefore did not possess them in the fullest measure. And basically, just you just have it. You just have those attributes, and so you do not like want to show them off. Just like how if I'm better in Seth in fantasy, I'm not trying to show that off. I just have those attributes.
Just let it be unspoken, even though y'all just
Exactly.
said y'all need to close the chapter. No, but I actually personally really like this. I like part two of this book because I did find it to be a lot more clear cut in its definitions of the Tao and also what the type of person is that follows the Tao. I found it to be a lot more, like I said, clear cut. It wasn't as many poems, and I think I may have gotten semi used to the way that it was written and the vibrato that it adds to the language. But yeah, that's something that I really, really much enjoyed from this one. So I feel like I got a lot more substance from part two than I did from part one. Of course,
I,
some repeats that really just hammered in the some of the main points.
I do think it was definitely a lot more clear on what the Tao is for sure. and
Yeah.
like what it means to like do things without reason, you know?
That I
It-
think that's like
mm.
the big point. I wrote that down. Um, it says doing nothing on purpose in parentheses. The parentheses are important.
It says that a
Uh,
lot throughout
it
this part.
does. And
On
so I
purpose.
think the thing is when that statement in itself is very odd and confusing. And I think most of this chapter was kind of spent explaining that concept of what it means to be doing nothing on purpose. Um, which when you talk about what you mentioned earlier, Howie, about how those who possess the highest degree of the attributes don't show them. I think that's a great example of you doing nothing on purpose. And I think this is something that was talked about in meditations by good old Marky Mark too. Kind of the concept of doing the work you do and letting that speak for itself, and kind of like this idea that you're not trying to boast, you're not trying to express, you just are exhibiting those aspects, right? Um,
I
It
also like
is.
which
that.
Oh, I was gonna say, nowadays in society, I think that is something that is not as innate as it may have been way back when because of the big role that social media now plays in every single person's life.
gotta flex,
Yeah, it's
gotta
a
flex.
very big cultural shift from 2000 years ago.
Yeah, I think.
One,
Well, I don't know if I would say that it was. I don't know much about culture 2,000 years ago. I'm
yeah.
sure people were still being braggadocious and
Oh,
opulent.
1000%. I really do think it
Yeah,
is much more echoed nowadays though than it would have been
Oh, for
it
sure.
a
reaches a
while.
wider audience,
There's more to brag
nowadays.
Hmm.
about.
It's
Uh,
just like
Hmm.
the difference between being able to brag in front of like the 20 people that live in your village and then the 8 billion people that use social media.
Yeah.
You know?
Another thing too is you
Yeah.
can decide to show what you show,
Hmm.
and so it almost like you're getting like the most perfect moments,
Yeah.
and it where like it hides. It's easier to hide the rest,
Yeah.
I think
I
it's another
think
big part.
I think a phrase that kind of is interesting to me that's everyone will understand is weird flex, but okay. And it's like I don't think anybody was doing weird flexes back then. Like I think it was like, oh, he has gold, or he has this crazy weapon, or he's massive. And it's like, okay, that's cool. Right? But like
Master
we've
of his
gotten
Hmm.
the
crafts.
yes. The bragging has become so ridiculous now that every once in a while somebody does something and they're clearly bragging and you're like, I mean, yeah,
I think
that's
that
cool, I
shows that it's
guess.
become worse now, right? Where like everyone's just trying
Yes.
to find something they can brag about, and
Yes.
it's like and like more and more people are doing it, and that's kind of a bigger issue now because more and more people are doing it.
Well, we've monetized it. You know,
That there it is.
it's like
Yeah,
used to you had to have
Money.
money and then you got to brag, but now you can brag to make money. And which is kind of an interesting flip, I think, of the relationship there.
yeah, but even then, it's not like you. I don't think that's the way to make the most wealth either. I do think it's a possibility to make wealth. I remember we kind of talked about like the YouTube creator stuff, uh, past episode, but like,
Hmm.
I, I mean, like, yes, it is a possibility, but it's very rare, and it won't make you as much as like possibly being. I do think that like being silent about like your business to a certain extent actually, you know, you probably can make more wealth.
Yeah, I would agree.
And it comes down to there's like a thing in business where a lot of successful founders they don't really talk about too much like their business. Like they don't like make news about their business or the way they do things and stuff of that nature. It's because it's like a close guard secret. Like one of the reasons why Disney is so successful and no one has really come close is because everything they do is like their like whole method and all that stuff. Like it's just not they don't they don't put it on full blast. They don't make everyone know about the way they conduct their operations and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And by keeping that secret close, they're able to just do their thing and no one can compete too much with it.
You
Yeah.
think in a sense that actually, because there was a part in this book where it talked about holding things too tightly and that causing you to lose it.
Mm.
And I guess I don't know why this immediately popped into my head of with their Disney example in the sense that I mean they're making a lot of money, but their media, from what I hear most around everywhere, isn't the best anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
depends. I feel like they make some good stuff and some bad stuff for sure.
Mhm.
Okay. What was
Granted,
the
they're still
last
making
good
billions of
thing?
dollars, so like, who
I mean,
cares? I
they're
mean,
still rinsing money. Yeah,
yeah.
that's for
So,
sure.
you know, whoa, what does I think matter in that sense, at least?
I mean, apparently they have a method, and apparently it's working. So,
Yeah.
It's something. I'm
but
I
like
bet
gonna
it's
holding,
something right.
go for it.
I was just say like holding too closely to something. I think that's an interesting point because I do think a lot of this too is like being silent on like your own victories and stuff like that, and so you're kind of holding it in a sense.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but I do think the difference is that if someone asks for like wisdom or like advice or something like that, then you give it. You're not like going out of your way to
Yeah.
not say something. You're just not saying something, you know? And that is a little bit of difference with Disney because
Hmm.
I'm sure if someone asked them like, "Yo, how are you guys doing this?" They're not gonna say a word.
Walt Disney is actually in what Disney World cryo chamber
Well, it's like the
secret.
sorry, it's like the difference between like when it comes to coding, there's like open source code, right? Which is like
Mhm.
anyone can view what someone makes, use it, add to it, whatever. And then, like just close code where like it's only used for personal purposes and no one can like see the code that you've written. And I think that's like a pretty big thing, especially when it comes to like fame or not even nothing, profit, when it comes to profit.
Mhm.
Because obviously you're not really profiting from open source code. You can, and you do. I mean, Linux was open source, right? And the guy who made it, I'm sure, has profited pretty heavily off of it. Um, but it's like allowing. I'm sure when he made open source, he wasn't thinking about money. I think he
Mhm.
was like doing it for the people.
Yeah. And
As the
you'd probably
sage would
say,
do.
Exactly.
yeah. And you'd probably say that the guy who made Linux he might be making money, but he's definitely not making as much as the guy who made Windows or the guy that made, Mac
Yeah,
OS.
that's very true. Very true.
I think for me, when I look at the holding on to it too tight, I kind of felt it was like the internal version of the being quiet and not like being loud about your exhibitions because you can you can be quiet and still think you're like really hot shit. You can not tell anybody or boast and still every single success or failure you have, you hold very close. And your happiness, you know, your confidence lives and dies by those moments, right? Um and so it's almost like going it's not just enough to not boast about it. You have to also not care as much about it internally. You have to be willing to let it go. um
Like you just move on to the next thing.
yes.
Like you just do it and you go on.
Do
And
it
that,
again. It goes back to doing it for the sake of doing the work, not for the sake of your own, for the sake of reveling in the accomplishment of doing the work.
yeah, and it
You
even
can
adds
revel
to that.
publicly and privately.
Yeah, and both might not be great. But it even adds to that and says like not only do you like move on, you do your thing and move on, but you also kind of make it seem like other people did it, you know?
Mm.
Or
Hmm.
like other people get the credit.
That was a
And
thing. That
yeah,
was a good topic here with the sage.
Hey, you just gotta keep showing up.
He, it's the sage, man.
the sage did show up a lot in this part.
Who is the sage? Is this just like the
The
Tao
sage
Te
is a
Ching's like perfect guy?
great practitioner of the Tao.
Okay. Okay.
One thing that I did want to get y'all's thoughts on was dispensing with the use of means.
Where's that?
Very short, literally page 219, very bottom, very short, 2 points. I didn't know how to I didn't know how to dissect that, or I didn't know how to interpret it. It was very over my head.
The movement of the Tao by contraries proceeds, and weakness marks the course. Tao's mighty deeds.
That one threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
I,
Well,
I wrote like an arrow from this. I said, despite having everything, appeared nothingness. So
yes.
like you look weak, but you're performing great deeds. I think that's actually a major part of this entire part. Actually, now I think about it, is like you know, I mean, I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. Like appear like did, you didn't do anything,
Mhm.
but like in the background, you had a big effect on like everything, such that it turned out the way it did successfully. But you you're making it seem like everyone else has made that result happen, while you're just kind of there doing it like in the background. And then I think that that's been a very interesting thing because
Hmm.
the thing too is like it's one thing to say that, but to actually do that, and I don't mean like say I'm going to do it and then not actually care. I want the glory. But like I mean like to say that you're going to do that and try to like perform that kind of deed. I don't think that's easy. I
It
don't think it's
really
very
isn't.
easy to like make things happen in the background and like they still happen while you don't seem like you really did much. You know, and that's
Setting
a
it up
very
so that
interesting
others feel the
topic too.
accomplishment.
And I think
Because how
that's kind
would
of
you
what
do
the
that?
second line is like saying, when it says, all things under heaven sprang from it as existing and named. So, like, all things came from heaven
Hmm.
existing. They existed, right? The things that came from heaven, they existed. That makes sense, right? They're there. That existence sprang from heaven as non existent and not named. Where it's, I don't know, this is kind of weird and abstract, but bear with me here.
Please.
While it was very easy for us to be like, yeah, that's like a tiger, and that's like, you know, a flower, the concept of existence took us quite a while to like understand and like what that meant. Where these things wouldn't have any impact if they didn't exist. But we don't understand existence, right? We don't understand what it means, but that doesn't give it any less power, even though we don't think about it all the time. So it's kind of like, I think what it's trying to say is the Tao has these like, you're really working in the Tao. You kind of are an unseen force that nobody truly understands. Um, but it's kind of the power behind the things that people do understand.
I
So
think that also hints on something that's talked about in this chapter too, where like if you go to the next page, 220, sameness and like literally the next thing, sameness and difference. It says scholars of the first paragraph, scholars of the highest class when they hear about the Tao earnestly carry it into practice. Scholars of the middle class when they have heard about seem now to keep it and now to lose it. Which side note on that real quick, I think it's very cool to like say, you put it into practice and then you forget to do it. And you like, oh, remind yourself, oh, put it in practice again, and then you forget to do it. And that's like the middle class. But it says scholars of the lowest class, when they have heard about, laugh greatly at it. If it were not thus laughed at, it would not be fit to be the Tao. And when I say that hints on it is because the little bit of the unknown portion, what is the Tao? Like that little bit of unknown and people just not understanding it to the point that they just laugh at it. And him saying like if they did not, like, if there was not people out there who just didn't understand it and thus laughed at it, it would not be fit to be the Tao. I think it's very interesting because it's saying that the the Tao is so great, partly because it's not able to be understood by everyone. Only a few can actually understand it, and even a smaller few can always follow the teachings of the Tao. And that is part of the reason why it makes it so great, which I thought was kind of interesting. Because when you want the Tao to be like understood by all and everyone follow it,
That's kind of what I
right?
was thinking. Is it's like a contradiction almost in that if everybody were to follow this, it would cease to exist. It would lose its power.
Right.
It's almost like the concept. It's almost like built into this is the concept of people who know and people who don't. And if you know, if everybody starts to know, then there's got to be something else unknown that needs to be achieved, right? And so the greatest people are always the people who are on the forefront of knowing and not sharing in some ways.
And not boasting about it, which I
Yes.
think is a little interesting here because it makes it sound like those who don't understand it are of, like it says, like the lowest class are of a lower class, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost saying that these people are greater, but so it's kind of seems boastful in a sense, but at the same time, it's also saying that these people don't act like it, and they might not even think that they're not supposed to think that they're actually greater, right?
I think it's also funny
So,
to put the line that if you don't understand this, you're a low level scholar right after like one of the most confusing lines in the entire book. By the way, go back and
just
read
small
that
roast.
one. Catch it. Yeah.
Did you understand
you
that?
yeah, you clearly didn't. I know you didn't. Go back and check it out. Um,
Yeah, it's pretty
I mean,
funny.
it's absurd. It makes me wonder, like, why would you write this book then to like explain it to people? Um,
See,
if
that's
explaining
a
it,
great question, actually. I think that's an outstanding question. Um,
yeah,
I didn't think about that at all.
Maybe they were just doing the work to do the work. Maybe
yeah,
they
yeah, that's true.
Maybe
it
they just,
could be that absurdism of knowing you're not gonna be able to like the conquer and knowing you're not gonna be able to conquer everything. That's literally impossible, but the contradiction
true,
of doing it
the
anyways,
absurd. That's a
doing
good,
it just
I like that.
because it's an absurd work, an
Yeah,
absurd piece of work, which honestly, I I, I don't know if I would completely 1000% consider this an absurd piece of work, but I'd put it somewhere in that category.
it's definitely moving in that direction.
There's absurd traits for sure. And
Oh,
I
for
think
Mhm.
that's the
sure.
beauty of absurdism is you can find absurd traits in everything.
I did
You really
read some,
can.
I did read some context about this where apparently Lao Tzu was like very emphatic about the Tao. Like he was like he loved this thing, and there's like some parts, like some poems in that first part that was just him like spouting about how great the Tao is, right? And so I think this was almost like that kind of absurd work where he loved it so much. He's like, yo, I have to write this. I have to write about the Tao. And so
Even though he
maybe
knows
some
that
of
he
that,
shouldn't be sharing it, he knows that by doing this, he's actually not practicing this thing he loves so much.
right? Right.
That's neat.
And now
Human
we get to
nature
read it.
And
absurdism.
then and also the fact that the Tao is supposed to be incomprehensible. So trying to
True.
write
Explain
about
it.
it
Yeah.
and comprehend it in a way that you can write about it or try to make other people comprehend it, it's like doesn't make much sense, but I
But he does it
respect it.
anyways.
Yeah, I respect it because it is absurd.
It's one of those works. It's got its nice little nuggets, good
And
nuggets.
it's so crazy to think about. Like this was in BC, and we're seeing like
Yeah.
absurdism in BC. Kind
Yeah,
of that's kind of crazy.
I love absurdism.
Just travels across time.
It's
yeah.
absurd.
There's also a lot of one of them that I kind of got a little confused about, but then sort of just it's still a big topic in this is following that flow and how everything is consist not because everything is has its natural order. One thing that was giving me that thought was on page 219, just real fast, going back, the origin of the law, the whole little poem where heaven, which by it is bright and pure, earth rendered thereby firm and sure, spirits with powers by it supplied, valleys kept full throughout their void, all creatures which through it do live, princes and kings who form it get, the model which to all they give. Which the first time I read it, I was like, okay, what the fuck am I reading?
The followed
But
up paragraphs, yeah.
yeah, it was definitely adding to the topic of everything being a part of nature and flowing together and kind of having a part to play as a cog within this big universal Tao that we are presiding in.
It's
Which
like
is
the idea of like, although it seems so like the valleys kept full throughout their void, although it seems empty, it's actually full. And I think one of the biggest themes is like the idea of being hidden, like
hmm
appearing hidden while being actually full. And a lot of that has to do with the internal aspect, right? I mean, obviously your external isn't there. So it has to be some internal aspect of yourself that makes you feel good.
I'm thinking of it as giving more value to the work if you're appearing as empty, like he was talking about prior, as what gives the value to a mug. Its emptiness, its ability to hold whatever you need it to hold because of it being empty. It gives its actual purpose, right?
Mhm.
Anything could be, it has a potential for infinity in there.
Giving the work itself more priority than anything else, than the reveling, than the accomplishment, than the boastfulness that you could gain from it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I struggle the most with here is this like idea of just being a vessel. It's like I literally can't imagine a world where I don't have a direction, where I'm not heading somewhere, where I'm not trying for something. I've never lived in a world where those aren't true. And if I did, I might have been like a little baby boy and I didn't know anything about anything. But the moment I gained like consciousness and learned like what candy is, I realized that I want. And so like I don't know. I read this and I'm like, okay, that sounds like cool and all, but what am I supposed to do? Like how do I oh, there's one point in particular that I think
I was gonna ask, was it the
felt
forgetting
impossible.
knowledge?
It's kind of it's
Dude,
that.
that one's tough for me
See, because
because
for
I have
me,
a
I
high value on knowledge.
yeah, for the very first point where it says, "He who devotes himself to learning seeks from day to day to increase his knowledge. He who devotes himself to the Tao seeks from day to day to diminish his doing." And my question mark on the side of that was a lack of ambition,
Yeah.
because that's kind of what I was getting.
Yeah.
But with the second paragraph that follows is kind of changed my perspective a little bit, which I still can't say that I have this thought fully fleshed out, but I'll just read the last sentence. Having arrived at this point of non-action, there is nothing which he does not do. And I guess the idea that's sort of fleshing out in my brain with the lack of ambition, is you can now, going back to just fully doing the work purely for the work instead of any other external factor, could in turn maybe improve that work. I don't know. Thoughts, conflicts,
Well,
See,
I
I
agree with that.
disagreements.
I agree with that to a certain extent because it's like, I feel like in the absurd part, right? It was like, you're doing this not for any, like, by doing something for not external reasons, but for internal, it almost gives you more motivation because you are solely working on and focusing on the work and the work itself. Whereas you're not kind of getting distracted by like, how can I make this work so that way I can make money, which would diminish it, in my
But that's kind
opinion.
of a double-edged sword though, because it's like things like that are an incentive though to improve your craft, you know? So like just buckling down doing the work being a drone kind of thing with no other ambition, like no ambition to improve your craft, like are you just going to be mediocre for the rest of your life just to get by?
See, I
You
was
know what I
thinking
mean?
about that too because innately, I mean, we're human. We're not a machine. We're not a drone. We're not AI that's just gonna do the work for doing the work. We have these feelings and these emotions, which I don't know if the Tao is fully saying to ignore them. I can't say that I'm getting that vibe from it. Lack of a better term.
Tried so hard to not say vibe.
I tried,
Mood.
but yeah, it's not something that's very intuitive, I would say, to most people.
The only thing I can put as a argument for what it's trying to say is kind of what we talked about a little bit in the last episode, where it's not saying to do nothing. It's just saying to only like it's saying to do nothing for external reasons, but rather to like do it for the sake of making your thing better. Like a blacksmith. He is devoted solely to making his craft the best it can be and isn't like worrying about or thinking about other external factors. He's not thinking about or worrying about, okay, I'm excited for someone to come and buy this. It's the work itself, but not putting any extraneous effort or thought into the external factors that come from the work.
See,
Um,
and I get that. I just don't think it's realistic.
I
Like,
think it's real. I think it's doable. If I'm being
no,
honest, I think it's doable. I
heavy
think it,
disagree.
I think it takes a very strong mental state and like mental fortitude and practice, like through meditation. But I do think that's possible to like
I
not.
think it's
I feel as
possible,
though
like
it's
in an
also.
isolated instant, but I think if you let that be your guiding principle in our society, you just become homeless.
No,
I
because
was
if you make something a better craft, you're going to get like, people are going to
Okay, but
notice
yeah, why
ideally
did
you
you
would
get
get
into
the.
that craft?
because you
Why'd you pick
enjoy it. It's for
computer
the sake of being
science?
because I enjoy computer science. It's for the sake of doing
Okay,
it.
what if I don't enjoy anything that makes me money?
Then that's fine.
But then you're home, then you die. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Look,
I
like
think most
you can always
people,
make some money from something.
I don't
I honestly
know.
think you have to find. I think this kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the last episode. Is unfortunately you kind of have to catch lightning in a bottle and find your passion pretty fucking early.
Yeah,
Find your thing, because if you're doing your thing, you're gonna love the thing you're doing because you're doing it for the thing itself. But finding that passion is something that is very difficult, and we don't have the safety nets in our society to be able to say, okay, you're shit out of luck, you ate shit, you don't have a job anymore, but you have safety nets so you can go figure out something else. No, you don't, unfortunately. It's more of a, yeah, you're kind of just shit out of luck.
yeah. Well, it's not even just that. It's like, I don't know. How many people do you think at your job, Howie, love coding, and that's why they're doing what they're doing? And there's no other reason, and they're not motivated by money, and they didn't go into this field because it makes a lot of money,
I'm
like a
sure there are some
percentage.
people like that, and I do also think that there are people who have both, where they
Mm.
like enjoy doing computer science, but it's not the only
Mhm.
reason because they do want the salary increase.
Yeah.
It's that
So,
lightning in a bottle, man.
but then my question, but you would probably argue that everybody who's there, at least a large portion of them are needed, right? Like we need these people to do the work, right? So like
Yeah, in today, yeah.
what happens when every computer scientist that's just in it for the money retires? Everything
Then
falls apart. There's not enough people who want to do it to like make it work. You get what I'm saying? Like I think part of it is like, yes, I would love this world where, and this is coming from a guy who loves what he does. I want to be clear here. Okay. I'm one of the lucky few. Like I'm saying this from a position of privilege. Um, but I just think that like it's like a double-edged sword. We've been that term. We gotta put that one to rest. It's like I would love to live in a world where everyone could do what they want, but we've built a like system that needs people. Like it needs them to do it, whether they like want to or not. And so I think you can still practice the Tao in that moment where you don't love what you do because it doesn't matter if you love what you do, right? It just matters that you do the work well, right? It doesn't. It actually, man, I'm figuring out my own consternation because nowhere in this does it say do what you love. Nowhere in this does it say find enjoyment in your work. It just says do it
That
for
is
no
actually
purpose
very
other
true.
than to
I
do it.
didn't even realize that until you said that right now.
I mean, either.
It was there was nothing for the most enjoyment that I would say that I not enjoyment the most do it for the sake of love or whatever for the sake of yourself was putting other people ahead of you
Yeah.
where you get fulfillment from that's kind of like the only
Oh,
part that I got from
which is like that's like the epitome of doing a job you don't want to do. Like 99% of the time you're doing that, it's for other people. Like because if it was all about you, you'd probably just go do something else. Right? Like I have like a lot of friends who like they're like, "Yeah, I don't know if I'm like really cool with what I do, but you know, I have a wife and kid." And so it's not about me. It's not about whether I'm like having a good time at work. It's about taking care of them. And so, wow.
I will
When
say
you
maybe it says that not everyone understands the Tao for a reason.
Because I'm not even gonna lie, I don't know if this started off as a sort of disagreement, but I don't even know if this is a disagreement anymore. This is kind of just more of a discussion and finding out what the
Yeah, for
fuck we're
sure.
thinking anymore
Howie's
at this
calling me a
point.
low-level scholar.
I heard it too,
No,
man. Play
that's
it
not what
back.
I
I heard
meant.
it too.
I just
The
mean
gong
I
has
just mean that
been
maybe if everyone
swung
like Seth,
again.
I'm like kind of agreeing with you low key because I'm like thinking, well, if everyone did understand and follow the Tao, then maybe society would crumble. I don't know. That
Well,
like
so
you make up some good
that's my
points.
point is like I just don't think that the Tao is feasible in our society at all. It's like even if like you have like an original thought, right? And you find out like a product or something that you're really good at from a young age and all this other stuff that you're really passionate about, the first thing that you're always asking yourself or someone else is asking you or tells you is, "Hey, you can make a lot of money doing that."
Yeah.
You know?
It's
And
ingrained into our monkey
that's
brains, dude.
that's just how it is. That's how it's always going to be. I'll give you a great example too. Refrigerators. They used to be fucking indestructible. They could last you your entire life and your
Yeah.
grandkids' lives. But now they break after fucking 3 to 5 years, man. They
Light
they're
bulbs,
like
man.
they're like phones, man. They're just like yeah, light bulbs. Light bulbs are a
Light bulbs,
great
yeah, that was
That's
a
a
example.
big one
perfect.
right
That's my
there.
Yeah,
favorite
Light
example.
bulbs,
they
yeah.
can last forever, but no, they intentionally make them poor so that
They
they
really had a
have to
secret
be
light bulb
replaced.
meeting.
They had a whole cartel to like
The light
produce
bulb
life
cartel.
expensive light bulbs.
Dude, when I worked at well, I'm not going to say the company name, but when I worked doing commercial
Wise.
maintenance, we had like these old light bulbs in our warehouse that were like 35, 40 feet up in, in the air because it's a warehouse. But they didn't have to be replaced but every 35, 40 years.
Yeah,
That's
Why
that,
can't we
crazy.
that's
have like
just
those in our house? You know?
because Connor, they're worried about the external things. They're going out of their way to reduce the expensive of light bulbs,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
that's what this is saying. See,
You're not following the
okay,
Tao.
look, my thing is this. I personally do not agree with everything it says, like the Tao is saying,
Yeah.
and I think it's important to keep in mind that Connor, I think you brought this in the past, but everyone's journey is different. And while each thing is a good piece of writing, like I mean, obviously it's a good piece of writing. It's been translated many times. It's really famous. Um, you should really it's your own journey. So take from it how to apply it to
Mm.
your life. And I do think there's good in like every parts of these. For example, me, I I honestly think I do get a bit arrogant and cocky sometimes, and like maybe not even like trying to be. It just maybe just kind of happens, and that's something I can take away from this and try to apply in my own life, and that's good. Um, and I think that if you do something good, okay, first of all, I think you should do the thing that you're passionate about and you really enjoy doing. I think that's what you should do, even if it
Yeah.
doesn't make much money.
Ideally,
But
yeah.
Yeah.
but you should try to make some money off of it. That's what I
Yeah.
think. And like this part two here about like forgetting knowledge. He who devotes himself to learning seeks from day to day to increase his knowledge. He who devotes himself to the Tao seeks from day to day to diminish his doing. Bro, I'm not gonna stop trying to gain knowledge.
Yeah.
Like
And I'm not
I'm
gonna stop
going
doing stuff either.
like yeah, and like so there's things I'm going to
What if we're
take away
going
from this, but
about this a little wrong in the diminishes doing? We're taking it too literally because I'm also thinking of it more in an abstract means. And what if it's more of a diminish his doing in the sense that you're following more of the flow of that
Hmm.
background work instead of that
Okay.
like actual physical diminishing what you're doing, you know?
Oh, what was it? What was it in the first chapter? The gravity, where like doing isn't action. It's like the delta of how far you are away from like the flow, like where things are taking you. Yeah, that's so smart, David. Because it's like I've like it seems ridiculous the concept of not
Hmm.
doing, but again, it's like of course it seems ridiculous because
it's
I'm
not
thinking about
saying
it
to do
wrongly.
that. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, it's not actually because it's like we were saying, like you do the thing, you just don't go out of your way or like make things hard. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Which okay, this brings me to my second thing that I don't really like about this. So I'm an engineer. If I don't think really hard about the shit I do, people die. Like it, like I have to freak out about what I'm doing. And maybe I'm just a young engineer and there's better ways to be this way. And I think there's something to be said where I've had times where I've been close to panic and it's made me worse at what I do. Right? So there's some element of chill you need. But I think that if I went to my job and just did whatever felt right, I would have completely failed at what I'm being paid to do. And it kind of goes back to this idea. It's like, I asked, is engineering incompatible with the Tao? And in some ways, I think that engineering as a discipline is like as far from this as you can possibly get.
I kind of disagree because of what you also just said prior to that, in that where you said that you need a level of chill. Maybe freaking out obviously isn't the best course of action, but you still want to be meticulous. Meticulously calmly meticulous, I guess
Mm.
is the word that I'm going to give you, or the two words that I'm going to put together. Uh, so in that sense, I wouldn't think that engineering is entirely incompatible.
Mm.
You know,
I don't think it
thoughts,
is.
critiques.
I think that it is like you are supposed to be thinking hard about your craft. That's the only way you can really get better. But you're not
Mhm.
thinking hard for a sake other than being better at your craft. You're not thinking hard to make this thing such that you're not thinking hard to reduce the life expectancy of light bulbs. You're thinking hard to make your craft better, and
Mm.
so that way people have a higher chance of surviving. And I
Other
think that is
people.
what this is trying to tell you to do, honestly.
I mean, that's putting people before yourself, right? In a sense.
Yeah.
So how do I know when it says
Real quick, can you
like
say the page and like the
yeah, my bad. 229
okay.
50 63 thinking in the beginning.
Oh, I wrote a lot in this part.
The quote is, "It is the way of the Tao to act without thinking of acting, to conduct affairs without feeling the trouble of them." How do I know when the resistance I'm feeling is just me trying my best at what I'm doing, me caring about other people, me like doing what I need to be doing versus me feeling the trouble of the action. Me like acting outside of the flow, for lack of a better word, the Tao, like where I need to be going, right? How do I know the difference?
I honestly, this might be an extremely simple answer. When it says trouble of them, the trouble of the affairs, I'm thinking going back to you said panicking because you're thinking, oh, this could cause people to die, so I'm gonna panic and stress work on it, and then that in turn is going to make my work worse.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the only thing that I'm personally that's coming up to my head.
I have a
And so
couple ideas, but
just to be clear, so the action in that moment would be quit. Like if that were to happen, if I were to feel that way, my action would be like quit my job and find something less stressful to do.
No,
Like, is that like what's the prescription to that problem?
I think it's finding that flow again and trying to get back to that level-headedness so you can make a clear decision.
it's remaining calm, kind of
Okay,
keeping
so it's
control
more
of yourself and your
situational.
brain.
I
Um,
think, yeah, it can
yeah,
kind of go into the whole saying of, just trying to perfect your craft. Because I feel like everyone kind of gets to that level, like when they first start out at something. Because whenever you first start something or try something, you're shit at it, unless
Yeah.
you're a fucking prodigy. Like I've had days, I'll tell you this, I've had days in my job where I'm like, is HVAC for me? Am I just dog shit and no one is telling me? Um,
You got a
but
$200 gift card, so I don't know about that, my
yeah,
boy.
so then exactly. So then you start to have like those moments, you'll complete a task and you're really proud of it, or you get these people up and cooling in my case, or you complete a project you're working on and it's all working at the end of the day. Then you tell yourself, okay, you know what? I was just overacting. It was just the stress talking or the stress thinking. I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And once you get to like that old head level where you have like 10, 20, 30 years in the industry, then yeah, you're going to be fucking good at your job and you're going to be very sure of what you're doing and you're not going to be getting as stressed as often.
I think overthinking in general is just bad because it causes you to do that panic and not remain calm. But there's like many examples of where not thinking is actually more beneficial. Um, for example, Steve Jobs, he would go out just for this is not even like people do this. They would just go, they have like a hard problem they need to solve. They're thinking about it, they just can't find any answer. And all of a sudden, they're like, okay, I need to take a step back. I'm just gonna walk, not think about it, just relax. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden the answer will come to them. Um,
Yeah.
there's somewhat I think of like an actual scientific study or something. Like Albert Einstein would do this too, where he would like literally give himself periods of just not thinking at all. And in those periods he actually usually found his answers.
Meditation.
Um, and I had one more example. But
Maybe if you take a
man,
step back from it, it'll come to you.
yeah, I know it disappeared. I think it's like my
Also,
favorite one too, but oh well.
also,
Oh
Jeff,
no.
I didn't mean to sound like I'm saying, you know, oh yeah, yeah, I know how you feel. Like I have problems too. These are my problems. I
Yeah.
want to say like I'm trying to say like it's just because you're new. Um, like I think that's kind of where the whole perfecting your craft comes into play is like as you gain knowledge and experience, um, that feeling will start to go away, or maybe you become numb to it. I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is,
Check back in 30 years.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not ask this question in the context of like where I currently am because like honestly, I mean, the reviews I'm getting is that I'm pretty good at what I'm doing, and part of it is because my ability to not panic in crazy situations. And that being said, like it might not always be like this, and I'm like, if I'm gonna try to take some wisdom from this, I'd like to walk away with and see here I am missing the point again. This thing's dicing me up, guys. It's got a mean hook because I'm over here like, man, I need instructions, and it's like, no, you dummy, there's no instructions to the Tao. If there were instructions, it wouldn't be the Tao. It's like, fuck,
It literally calls you
no,
out. It just calls you out
it's
in like the
owning
very beginning of this
me.
part.
He said it has a mean right hook.
I think I'm
Just,
Favorite
doing
just
good.
keep
sentence
I
of
on,
the
dodge
day.
right into it.
just keep on reading to yourself the part of like the lowest class when they have heard about it, laugh greatly at it. Just keep on, just read that to yourself over and over
I'm gonna put that's my next sticky note in my bathroom.
again.
Oh,
Oh man.
um, I want to talk about something that I don't know if this is what we were talking about earlier, how if when it was just the two of us, but
All right.
the one where I said I was like, "What the fuck?" and I'm 1000% sure, not one, I'm like 99% sure that every one of y'all also had that same thought was
I hope it's
pure,
the same one.
unmixed excellence.
Wait, what?
Page 230.
You're on. Oh, yeah. I try to defend. I usually try to defend the author in every single book they write on. Like I try to find a good perspective that we can apply. And I literally wrote, well, maybe he is talking about having the knowledge and wisdom to benefit oneself. I'm like, well, maybe that's what he means.
I was like,
Um,
this sounds
See, and
like
that's the
suppression.
no, see, that's the exact thought process that I had too. Until I read the following point, putting oneself last.
Mm,
And if somebody were to really truly, like I kind of put this into a more overarching perspective, that if somebody who really does follow the Tao, they would, okay, want people to be in simpler times, but not for the means of suppressing them, but for the means of giving them that more, I guess, simple life, because they would themselves be putting themselves last. Like it said, the ocean is going to be, it's getting into volume from all the lakes and all of the rivers that flow into it, right? Because it's putting itself last. By putting itself last, it in turn becomes, it's above men, right?
mm.
it's the
So
helper.
that suppression kind of got mixed, and I didn't see it so much as suppression, taking it out of just the context of it's that one section, kind of
Yeah.
applying it with everything else.
And and for those who are listening and haven't read the book, you should read the book. The opening
Well,
line in
use the
this
Amazon
one.
affiliate link.
The opening line in this one is the ancients who showed their skill in practicing the Tao did so not to enlighten the people, but rather to make them simple and ignorant.
A very not great sentence. I ain't gonna lie. And like y'all said, very for one, sounds like very much for oneself, very much for the benefit of one over the benefit of all.
I
Mm.
But
love this as an opening sentence because usually like these paragraphs start with like a subtle door opening. This one just fucking kicks it, dude.
Dude, I
right
mean, like,
down.
that's like this thing has totalitarian. Oh my God, I can't say that word. Totalitarian notes to it. I remember
Yeah.
we mentioned in the last episode. It's just
I wrote
like
I wrote next to it, it's a book of rule.
it says something later on. This is the part where I was kind of talking about too, David, where it was like, um, where I didn't like it. Oh gosh, it's the last page. Basically, well, we can go here because it ties in, and we can like go back. It's the last page, 236, standing alone. Paragraph one. It says, "In a little state with a small population, I would so order it that though there were individuals with the abilities of 10 or 100 men, there should be no employment of them." And I read that, I was like, that's just that's like the opposite of meritocracy, right?
Yeah.
And so I mean, I just don't agree with that at all because like they should be. I think that it's more helpful to people. I mean, sure, people might look at that and be jealous, but there's also the chance that people look at it and like feel inspired,
Mm.
and
Bro.
it's good and bad. There's good and bad because I mean, it'll be both. People will feel inspired, and people will feel jealous. Um, some
But through
people,
that jealousy, maybe inspiration comes.
yeah, but the
Yeah.
issue is that jealousy might spawn revolt,
Hmm.
and this is like what this book is trying to do, like with keeping people ignorant, is such that there's no conflict and there's no revolt. Um, and I remember we talked about this last episode, so we don't have to talk about it too much now. But
Hmm.
like the idea of like removing individuality to keep peace, or adding
Yeah.
individuality and like, well, probably being less peace.
I think it's even more complex and simple than that. There's the line in this one where it says, I would make the people return to the use of knotted chords instead of the written characters. It's literally return to monkey. In like it's like because what I was thinking about when we were talking about our conversation about how feasible this is, right? Where it feels like we've built a society where this idea is incompatible now. My first thought was it's out of date, and I don't think it's out of date. It's just different, and the we've because the way it is right now is not how it always was. We built to it slowly, right? So that means two things. Number one, we could have built slowly to this instead. We could have gone this direction. Would have been interesting to see what would have happened, but it was an option. Number two, we can always build away from what we have right now. So I think, I don't want to go back to knotted chords. I'm a big proponent of not doing that.
No
No.
pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that there are still, I think one of the things I'm taking away from this is to value simplicity in our incredibly, increasingly complex world.
Dude,
I mean, humility,
simplicity's better.
simplicity, that was like a big, also another big topic in this,
Yeah.
right?
I'm a big proponent of like simple is literally better in like 98% of circumstances.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like a lot of the answers are simple. It's like that thing I was telling you about, like, you think too hard, you're going to struggle to find the answer. But when you stop thinking, the answer just comes. Um,
Mhm.
it,
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
usually
yeah.
a simple answer. The simple answer is usually the correct one. You know,
Yeah. Maybe simple to say, but I don't know if simple to
it's
execute.
good. No, no,
Definitely
because
not
the way
simple
we
to
think, we
execute.
overcomplicate
Yeah.
things naturally. It's like Connor's like they're building a freaking pipe in the middle of the HVAC where they need to like get to fix the thing, bro. You're overcomplicating it. Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Yep. No, and I think like there's a lot of things that like reading all of this, it, we have to take it with a grain of salt too, because up until now we've only been reading Western philosophy. This is Eastern, so it is going to be completely different culture, right?
Yeah.
Culture
That being
and
said,
fucking, like what, the oldest book we've read out of the three so far?
I think so, yeah, 100%. Yeah, this is BC.
Yeah.
Old Marky Mark was writing CE, so um but anyways, there's like some things that I'm taking away from this and I'm saying, all right, yeah, I would like to implement that into my normal life, like the good ones like humility and all that stuff, right? It's just how like with Marky Mark, we were reading it and sometimes he's cooking, he's saying some great shit.
Yeah.
Like vanity's bad, vices and all this other stuff. But then sometimes he'd come in and he'd be like, hey, women are also terrible. Women suck. And it's like, okay, Mark.
It's like, all right, Mark, sit
Right.
down. You've
it's,
said
it's,
enough.
It's
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 like
it's
Don
what you. I
Juan.
think I think you said this a while ago,
Don
Seth, but
Juan.
the Don Juan, but all of the philosophies aren't a. It's not a rule book.
Yeah.
It's a means of navigating whatever situation you are in, taking whatever you need from it in that moment to, again, best navigate whatever situation you're in that moment.
right.
And
Yeah. And so, like, basically, that's how I'm going to take this book is, these
just
good
use
things
it's
I'll
good.
take.
Yeah.
Um, Totalitarianism is not good, though. And I will not subscribe to that thought.
You,
But
you
knowledge
won't you
is
won't
good.
you won't keep the people ignorant and
Keep them
Yeah.
simple,
just
keep them
feed
ignorant.
No. Yeah. Keep them stupid
Yeah.
and
I'm going to,
dumb.
I'm going to keep all the good stuff, like keep the people simple and dumb. Um, throw
that
away like
that's the
the
good stuff.
humility and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't keep the humility stuff. No. Well, I think it's also important to keep in mind that if you think about it from like an outside perspective, at the end of the day, this is just a person writing a book
Yeah.
or writing this, you know, and it's like everything too. It's good to keep us in perspective. The idea of like literally everything around us, all this is just made by man. It's not some special thing. It's made by a man. And I think it's
Hmm.
important to keep this in mind where it's made by a man. Every person, when I say man, I mean a person. Every person has imperfections. And so this is not a perfect book. So that's why it's good to take the good with the bad. Like it's at the end of the day, it really is just kind of opinions, you know, that
Yeah.
person's writing down.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's another good point too, is to kind
You
of take
wrote.
it with a grain of salt, because I don't know who this guy was in his life. I'm not really big on Eastern uh history or anything like that.
Yeah.
This guy could very well be like the right hand of the emperor, and he's saying, "Hey, keep the people simple because that is good for him," you know?
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know that. I mean, it would make sense. This book went from, before the Common Era into now. Um, who else would have the power to do so, you know?
Yeah.
Or yeah, so grains of salt.
Yeah, just, you know, take the good, but don't follow it like it's the ultimate law,
Yeah.
right? I think it's just good to keep all that in perspective, everything.
Yeah. I mean, there's
One
definitely
thing,
some good stuff.
Oh,
one thing
for
that I was
sure.
really trying to do with this book when I came to aspects of totalitarianism and kind of keeping the people simple is like I did in the very first one is not taking each section by itself and applying it as a whole.
Mm.
Because going back to, let's say, somebody who does follow the Tao, if they are somebody who really does truly believe in it and value it, they wouldn't be acting out of malicious intent, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's also very important to not take each section by itself.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think he's writing, you know, keep the people ignorant for his own benefit. I think he's writing it because he doesn't want conflict.
And
Um,
like this again, this was written during a time where China was kind of broken
conflict
up
was
into
happening a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
extremely.
The Warring States period.
So
Yeah.
so we also have to take that into account because it even talks about what it talks about. See if I can find it. I got kind of some hints of Vinland for my Vinland Saga fans, which is only 2 over here. Sorry, Seth.
Dude,
Fucked
yeah,
up.
Seth. But we gotta put Vagabond on the list, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it was this because right here I wrote right next to it a true warrior dash Vinland, and it went the perception of what is small, the secret of clear-sightedness, the guarding of what is soft and tender is the secret of strength.
Mm.
And well, aspects like that made me again think back to Vinland of what a true warrior is that the main character's dad Thor's was trying to attain through pacifism because it's a really big show about pacifism, Seth. That's basically what one of the big messages is of that anime. And well, in this time period, I think I think somebody who wanted to follow the Tao didn't want to see the mass amount of violence that was going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think but like the thing too to keep in mind as well, and I think this is also important to keep in mind with it saying like, you know, put other people first in a sense. Remember, it's also said, you know, if someone's coming in and attacking you, and it mentions it here, like with war, if someone's attacking you, it's not saying to just, you know, let it happen. Yeah, it's saying
Yeah.
to fight back. One thing I actually loved was the reference to the art of war in here, which is in this book if you want to buy it.
Wait, this book?
Through the Amazon affiliate
Yeah,
link.
look at
This book
this
No,
has the art
this
of
this
war?
book.
the main one. Who would have guessed? But like it says, a master of the art of war has said. Oh, sorry, page 232. 69, the use of the mysterious Tao. A master of the art of war has said, I do not dare to be the host to commence the war. I prefer to be the guest, to act on the defensive. I do not dare to advance an inch. I prefer to retire a foot. And then a little bit later it says, thus it is that when opposing weapons are actually crossed, he who deplores the situation conquers. Um, and that is a big part in the art of war, is like the person who is on a defensive, or like, tries to get the war done quickly, is usually the
Yeah.
person who's going to win. And so it's, but it's not saying to not fight, but what it is saying is to despise fighting, and as such try to get over with. It's like win it fast and be smart about it.
Mhm.
Because people who like just enjoy war, they just war. They don't really think about it too much. They just want to fight. And so it just be calm, basically. Just stay calm, follow the course, and
Follow the flow, be
use your
like
brain.
water.
I do want to also say that for me, when I read this the first time, I was very confused. But reading this the second time, I think I definitely understand it a lot more. So I do highly recommend reading this. Like I get, like walking away probably like a few months, maybe a year, and coming back and reading it again, because you might
Oh
have a whole
yeah.
new perspective.
It was a really quick read too. That's what I
Retreat.
very much
Yeah.
enjoyed. A
Yeah.
lot of,
No,
and
no.
even with this quick read, both sessions were like what, an hour and 30, almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
We still have the wheel to spin too.
Oh yeah.
Wheel, wheel,
Wheel,
wheel,
wheel,
But
wheel.
wheel.
any final thoughts,
Final
friends?
thoughts.
Anything about
Yes.
the Tao Te Ching? A lot of it was going back to not boasting and just doing things, and now the work will speak for itself. I'm kind of just reiterating those points from the very beginning as well. And warning against trusting strength. That was a pretty nice one. Interesting how it made its how it made a metaphor for the strength becoming old and eventually disappearing, while the soft and the malleable is forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved a little foray into mysticism. It's a bit of a departure from
A
our.
bit. And again, dude, this
It's the point of the
mysticism, or
wheel.
yeah, spiritual. I don't even know if it's spiritual. Mysticism is probably the best way to describe it. Like you said, was very difficult for me to understand at the beginning, and still, even then, I probably do think it'd be great to go back to it whenever I haven't read it for a couple of months.
Put it
You
on the
should.
shelf.
Yeah,
I
have it
I
for a
highly
second read.
recommend.
Well,
I mean, if y'all
that
don't have
was my
anything else to say,
recommendation. Yeah. Anybody
yeah.
else want any takeaways from the book? I definitely will try to implement the good of the Tao in my life and follow the flow. Do the work that needs to be done with
Be
the
humble
clear mindedness that I can, and yeah, being humble and the humility of life. Just letting the work speak for itself.
and just do the work for the sake of doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and then try to make some money too. But
Mm-hmm.
I
Howie
didn't say
unauthorized
that. I
translation.
said that.
No, yeah, I did enjoy those aspects. Again, no desires is always a very big
Hmm.
topic in all of the philosophy books that we've read
It
so far.
does. No
For sure.
desire and like the conflicting nature of like existing in life seems to be a common theme.
Even 2,000 years ago, no desires. The
Yeah.
absurdism, no desires. Marky Mark, no desires.
Yep.
It's a big
Yep.
No
thing.
overindulgence. The
Now we
beautifulness of not modernizing. What's the
yeah.
word? It's escaping
Modernization.
my. No, yeah.
Where's our hedonist philosophy? Where's my like modern American,
Dude,
you
I
know?
think
Did anybody
Albert Camus
recommend?
was kind of close.
Even though he
What
was
was?
what, France?
Camus?
Yeah, Camus was pretty close to modern, I'd say.
Well, yeah, but
Because
I guess he did have. There were some hedonistic
Yeah.
concepts
It,
in
it
the
it wasn't it wasn't
mythicists.
like necessary that, like, he didn't say what to do. He just said to live and like be absurd.
Yeah,
You know. I mean,
yeah.
there were some
do we
pretty
have any?
extreme examples.
I already forgot like a couple, not even a couple. I forgot a good amount of the recommendations that we had. So I guess if we come
Well,
to
let me
them,
remind you, David.
yeah. Okay, what do we
Anything
Okay,
that
got?
wait, you
goes
got to delete
bad?
some of them.
So okay, you guys can see the
Oh, wait,
big
you already
wheel
did.
now, right?
Oh, we did add the Republic on here.
Yeah, remember Connor substituted it for
Yep.
the Rome
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
Or it's not the eye, it's the lays.
the Lays of Rome. Yeah. So yeah, we got a bit on here with. I mean, we still have 3 Nietzsche out of 10,
We got
almost
30,
30,
so it's a
Chance
pretty
for it.
high
almost
chance of, yeah.
33%. I'm kind of hoping for the Prince here. Like, I think that'd be a nice follow up
Never,
for this. But
never. I don't think I've even heard of a good amount of these, except for the ones that
all right,
I recommended.
I don't even know if Slaughterhouse-5 counts as a philosophy.
I think you have. You just have, I don't think they need to be philosophy, low key.
That's what then I think this is a perfect one
I
then.
think it's just books. Yeah, it's just books to make us like good discussion.
There you go.
Discussions and talks
Perfect.
that we can apply for our IRLs.
Yep.
Exactly. Well,
Oh
do y'all
boy.
want to give me a little spin up here?
We need to do a little
Da- da-
drum
da-
roll.
da- da- da-
Brrrr.
Spin that
Time to
wheel,
spin
Wheel,
spin
the
that
wheel,
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 spin
wheel,
that
wheel,
wheel.
wheel,
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 wheel, wheel,
wheel,
wheel, wheel, wheel, wheel, wheel.
wheel.
Oh,
What are we
getting,
gonna
we're
get? What is it?
getting.
What is it? What is it?
Oh, oh,
Oh,
oh,
this.
oh,
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 Oh
oh,
my
oh.
oh, oh.
gosh.
The screw tape
The screw
letters.
tape letters.
Huh. The
This is a
screw.
Seth Keelan
Okay.
one.
Really? Oh, I'm excited. So because we've had one from Connor, one from me. The first one doesn't really count, so we're missing one from Howie now.
This is
We
working
are.
beautifully, actually.
So I have this
Yeah.
book.
You have this book.
God damn it.
Of course he
Well,
does.
Nicole has this book. Nicole had this book. It's part
Oh,
of her collection. Um, so I don't know if y'all want to get this one. I'm
that
down.
yeah. I
So
think
you
I
don't have
think
to buy another one.
I mean, there's no point in
This
having.
is the first one I
Let's.
see on Amazon, so
Okay, well, that works out perfectly.
yeah,
It's
send the
this guy,
link by C.S. Lewis.
C.S. Lewis, the screw tape letters. Seth, you
yeah,
want
the
to give
guy
us
who
some?
wrote the Narnia.
Oh,
Really?
really?
Yeah,
I didn't
same
know
Huh.
that.
guy.
You want to give us
Oh,
some background into this book
yeah, yeah.
and why you
How
chose it,
did you
Seth?
come?
This is we're gonna go a little bit away from philosophy and delve into some religion. Actually, this is a
Ooh.
Christian apologetic. It's like one of the most famous ones. Um, it's written from the vantage point of Screw Tape, who is essentially a high-ranking demon, and the whole thing is
Oh, I
about
think I've
how
heard
he's going to
this.
tempt and ruin this guy's life. And I've never read it, but I've always wanted to.
I
And
think
it's
I've
also
heard of
written by
this
the same
somewhere.
guy who read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, so that's kind of interesting.
Hey, well, religion and philosophy kind of cross tapes pretty often now.
I wouldn't even keep this like, I don't think we should be boxing just religion and philosophy. Like maybe even like some politics or something like that.
Yeah, dude.
Ooh, some politics.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
dude.
Well, we gotta see what
Yeah,
comes in
I'm
more.
down. I mean, the world is our oyster. I'm just excited to get to read more and actually expand my brain.
Yeah,
Throw
dude.
Carl on there. That's
I
my
also
next
just
book.
like that it's Screw Tape writing to his nephew Wormwood. An awesome name for two
That's hilarious.
demons.
Could you please send the link on Discord? Well,
All right,
good book club
everyone.
today, boys.
First 8 chapters because I probably cut out a lot of that. The first 8 chapters is what we're reading of the Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis.
First 8.
Oh,
Well, it was a great book club, friends. Glad we got the third book down. On to the
yeah, dude.
fourth. And
Yeah, man. We're
Onward and
getting through the
upward.
I'm
wheel.
excited. Yeah, we
We
really
are.
are.
It's
We have to
fire.
we have to get another whole 3 recommendations from each other, and I'm actually so
Mhm.
excited to restart the wheel
Yeah.
afterwards.
New
Dude,
wheel.
that'll be
New
pretty
wheel.
cool to see the new stuff.
I
Dude,
agree.
my my library is gonna be growing. This is just the best way to do it, and I'm so happy about it. I really truly
I know it's
am.
so fun.
Hell yeah. Hell
We're
yeah.
just
Alright,
doing it.
friends.
You know, we're just doing what
Hey,
we're
we
doing.
are. We're just doing it. It's
Yeah, we're doing
disgusting,
it
and we're
for the love of the game.
for the love of the game.
Yeah.
This is just the vlogs to keep our memories fresh, so we could always revisit. Which
Yeah, dude.
It's the library, the archive.
Yeah, I don't know if you
you
guys have
know,
ever revisited any of them. It's pretty awesome.
I listen to, I mean, yeah, I listen to all of them for sure.
I may have to go revisit some of the last meditations, or definitely the Albert Camus one will be one that I revisit at some point because there were a lot of interesting takes there.
Yeah.
I think we'll have
Yeah,
plenty
every
more.
episode's a banger. I'm not trying to toot our, like, this is not me trying to be like, like, I know we just read like cocky
You
and stuff like
thoroughly
that,
enjoy
but
every
like, I
episode.
really do enjoy like hearing our episodes.
Oh man,
Oh,
Like,
beautiful
it
friends.
sucks
Well,
because like I know how that comes across, but like I don't know.
it's
no,
true.
it's not coming across that way, Howie.
It's
It's
the
for the love
truth.
of the game. It's very apparent. Love of the game, man.
You just want to
Fire.
perfect your craft, man.
Yeah,
So
man,
true.
gets me pumped.
Damn
So
straight,
true,
man. He's doing the
Testy.
work for doing the work. Nothing more, nothing less.
Exactly,
Pure enjoyment of the craft.
exactly.
All
All
right,
right.
All right,
boys.
guys.
Well, y'all have a good night.
Y'all
You
as
too.
well.
See
I'll
y'all
catch
next
May
y'all
y'all
time.
sleep
later.
well and sweet dreams.
Yes, sir. Till
Oh,
next
thanks,
time.
man.
Yeah, of course,
Always.
dude.
Thanks.
Yeah.
uh,
Bye.
bye. Till next time.
Bye.
Deuces. Thank you for listening to today's book club. If you want to support us, please feel free to leave a rating and review on wherever you get your podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, so either one of those would be great help. Also, leave a follow. That'd be amazing too. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, please leave some comments, like the video, subscribe. Another way you can help support us is we are Amazon affiliates, which means you'll see in the description wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast on the episode, there will be a link to the book that we are currently covering, or if we spin the wheel to select our next book, you'll also see a link to the next book that we will be covering as well. And these links are to the books the exact same books that we are reading during the podcast. So, if you're going to read the book anyways, it'd be a great help if you could use the link. It's going to be no additional cost to you. And we do get a small uh, percentage of the proceeds. So you get a book, and we also get benefit. It's a win-win, honestly. And even if you don't get, like, even if you don't use the link, I still recommend getting the book. One, because it helps to read what we're reading, so you can kind of have some more context into what we are discussing, as well as having your own book. We're not covering everything in the book on the podcast. That's impossible to do in an hour and a half, and so it allows you to get some really nice information in there that again we just can't cover. And it also allows you to annotate your own book. So, if years down the line, you can kind of come back to the book, kind of remind yourself on the lessons you learned. And, if you reread it again, you can have almost like a conversation with yourself back in time too. It's really an investment to, I think, read and buy books. So again, thank you for listening to Book Club and can't wait to catch you in the next one.